It's time to acknowledge your hardcore king on Sportswire Radio, and especially over the past week, where we've heard from several so called hardcore wrestlers. There's only one currently that's a hardcore king and a hardcore champion of the mothership of this sport in backyard and underground wrestling that is Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And our hardcore king has been on a run that nobody in this sport has been on. There's been so many people that have wanted to step up that there's almost nobody left for him to face. He's going to talk about that. Plus, he's going to talk about maybe some other hardcore wrestlers out there that have been certainly proclaiming themselves this and that, and others that might have wrestled in hardcore matches here in this platform and certainly might want to stay on the training wheels. And I might even ask our hardcore king tonight about something that was posted on Instagram with the date 5/18 from a former world champion. Who could that be? I know I'm not talking about the nemesis James Taylor. I know I'm not talking about the destructive Jack Delta, the good guy CJ Black. Not going to be those guys, but it's going to be a name that would certainly be a blast from the past. Plus, I'm even going to talk about maybe the first sponsor for any backyard wrestling company to date, and it's here in Tennessee, and they're going to even have a cup to be sponsored. Boy, that's going to be a live one. Plus, you never know what's going to happen here on this platform. After all, we've seen the past few weeks. I mean, one guy here that used to work in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling that our guest wrestled once upon a time was actually doing a number 2 while he was on the air. There was one guy that did an apology while he was on the air. There was another guy that came on here and talked about death matches and wrestling matches he promoted and ring crews he worked for. In fact, he talked about so much of that even Jimmy Controversy had to address that on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We've even had guys come on here that were the best on the card, a Born to Battle briefcase holder, and maybe the best Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer of all time. I'm not quite sure if our guest is going to acknowledge and bow down to him. We've had so many people on here over the past week. In fact, we even had one guy here that I actually had to deactivate on Sportswire Radio permanently because, well, he was drunk. No, he wasn't drunk about Taylor and Travis. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan after all. But he might have been drunk about what was going to happen to him in the ring 48 hours later in the IMF. But the point is, I can go on and on and on tonight, but I think we are waiting for all of us to join me in bowing down to our hardcore king, the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history and your reigning defending TBW hardcore champion. But before we bow down to our guest tonight, it's time to give him that introduction that so many others have gotten. Maybe a few of his opponents, maybe a few of his peers in the hardcore scene. Some have maybe said that they're the best, but they're certainly not a king, and they're certainly not queens here on this platform. We don't have any hardcore queens. We only have a hardcore king. He's waiting for this intro, and most importantly, I'm waiting to give him this intro because we're in prime time here. We're figuratively and literally on Sportswire Radio. All wrestling matters. So let's get right to it on a Monday night. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the reigning, defending TBW hardcore champion, yours and Sportswire Radio's hardcore king. His name is a And the champ is here.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, but maybe before anything else, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to join me in respecting and bowing down to your hardcore king, Atomic.
You're correct. You know, all the people watching right now, you better get on your knees and bow down and show me the respect I deserve. Because I'm sick and tired of it. Each and every week I go out there and nobody's giving me that respect. So I want it.
Well,
So
you know what?
ahead.
I don't know if I can quite put my knees down on the screen,
It's
but what I will
fine.
do once again, I'll go like this for you, Mr. Titan. Because
Thank you. Thank you.
Jacob Young couldn't quite do that at no return. So let me reintroduce myself to you, Mr. Champion, and do that for you.
Thank you. You know, a lot has happened since no return.
Yes, a lot actually with you. I mean, there's so many things that have happened that I've almost needed a scorecard, and we're gonna get to a number of those things. But you know, Mr. Titan, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire right now, certainly, you know, I did bow down to you, and I've respect king, and you are, after all, the hardcore king of this platform. So I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't do that. But I've noticed something a little different about you. No, it's not the turtleneck. No, it's not the hardcore championship. But wait a minute. Did you shave, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio? I was getting used to that mustache, but the last time I saw you at 161, and for the past several weeks since the season started, I saw a thick mustache there. And what happened, Mr. Titan?
You know, it's best to be clean shaven if you're a king. So that's what I had to do. You got to look best for the viewers.
I see.
You can't really grow much, so you gotta let it go. So that's what I did.
I see. Certainly, I should have took note about that maybe 6 years earlier with this, but I certainly, you know, if I shaved, it might be in the National Enquirer. You know, if you thought that when the big bad ball patch came on here last week and explained himself in a quote unquote hardcore match was certainly newsworthy. If I shaved Sportswire Radio the next day and came on without it, I mean, that would probably make the National Enquirer. But obviously, there's a lot to get into with you, sir. We'll certainly do that in a little while, but I want to actually start off with something actually monumental that happened to Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And I want to congratulate you guys because it took place, obviously, to open up 161. And you guys have your first sponsor, and really from almost all of our backyard wrestling companies out there, at least as far as I could think of, this might be the first sponsor of its kind, and it's from our very good friends over at Macon Iron Fitness. And Macon Iron Fitness, of course, is one of the premier gyms in the great state of Tennessee, where so many guys out there in this sport, and especially in TBW, work out for and out of. And I was wondering, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, Hardcore King, Atomic Titan, what does it mean to you knowing that you've got your first sponsor in Macon Iron Fitness supporting not only you, but also bowing down and respecting everybody in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling?
Well, I never expected that to happen. So, I want to send like a thank you out to Macon Iron Fitness and the owner, Brian Nichols, for that. He's a big fan of TBW, so I would like to send a thank you out for that. It's been in the works for a while now. But if I'm in it, I might as well win it, because I might be a fan favorite of his. You never know. But, you never know what I'll be doing at anniversary. But for real, thanks to Macon Iron Fitness, I'm sure I'll be there pumping the weights every single day.
I did notice on the last show, Mr. Titan, you certainly, growing in stature there with those arms. I mean, certainly, I could see why you are the hardcore king. And, guys like Mikey Anarchy want nothing from you. And, guys like Omen Black, the hardcore god, the boogeyman of the Midwest, they want no piece of you. Guys like Hardcore want no piece of you. Even guys like Jake Matthews, may not even want any piece of you. I mean, I could keep going. I mean, Stephen Havoc, last night's guest in the Riot in the Ring. I mean, guys from, I don't know, in NEW, my guest tomorrow night, Justin Abel Sane, Power Surge, D Savage. I mean, let's even throw more names out there. How about Obey? I mean, he came with a gun here on this platform. Don't even listen to what Mac 10 was saying about you on Saturday's show. And how about Sean Jovi, the resident rock star? I'll get to him. And Kodak Kid, his opponent. I mean, I can keep going. Damian Saint, and Soldier GP, Darkron, Matthew Forsaken, all those guys. And certainly the likes of Skulls, who quote-unquote says he's a wrestling promoter. And, the Big Bad Bold Patch and C2K. Don't think you want a hardcore match with the Atomic Titan. Maybe focus on Luke Draven or Craven Rage. But we can keep going. Yeah. But none of those guys, especially now with you working out at Making Iron Fitness, want any piece of you, my friend.
Yeah, they definitely don't. None of them. They don't have what it takes to hold this.
They got the premier. They could not, as you have right now. You have the top prize for any hardcore wrestler right now in this sport. You have the prize from the mothership. The mothership of this sport. You're holding the most hardcore prize of them all.
Yeah, I am. And, ever since All Hallows, I've been on a historical run, and nobody is going to be able to stop it. Everybody wants that title off of me, but every single time, I don't even think I've literally lost a fair match since that date. I've been on a run of a lifetime. People wish they could dream about. And, it's never going to come to an end. I said it, and I forever will stand by it. I am forever your TBW hardcore champion. And you can also crown me a hardcore champion without me even being there in your federation if you would like.
Really? I guess maybe we could have like AI versions of Atomic Titan so that you don't have to show up. Because they're talking about now, apparently there's this band Kiss out there that decided to quote unquote announce their retirement. But they said they're coming back in a form of AI. And maybe Atomic Titan, since you've done so much in hardcore wrestling and you've pretty much proved it all. And Alan Michaels, my buddy who's actually an analyst on my platform, wants no part of you anymore. And Jacob Young, let's not even go there. Joe Anderson, the Grim Reaper. I mean, those guys couldn't hang with you. So why don't we just have an AI version of Atomic Titan to wrestle anywhere for your promotion out there?
Yeah, I'd be like the most well-known traveled backyard wrestler of all time. I'd be beating Jack Delta, D'Angelo Flame, all them guys.
Wow, all guys that come are mentioned. And speaking of those names, actually, Mr. Titan, I actually have some announcements about them coming back to this platform really soon. So maybe I'll let them know, or maybe they're listening out there right now and saying, Atomic Titan AI version can beat me. Well, maybe I have to come on Sportswire when I come back, which is going to be real soon. And, they can maybe address those things. I mean, that's certainly, very bold of you, Mr. Titan. Very bold of you,
I'll show up AI, I promise. It'll happen this year.
So what? 50 years from now, when obviously you've continued your run as hardcore champion, but you decided to, obviously step aside and, let another hardcore king out there. Maybe there's a baby Titan and, full of baby Titans out there to decide to, take over the mantle. But at the very least, how kind of you is that you would certainly allow us to have your presence continue to be graced for us here by you as an AI version over the next 50 or so years from now when you finally decide to step away. So kind of you, Mr. Titan. So kind that we could certainly be, graced by your presence with an AI version whenever that time comes that you decide to step away.
You're right, because I give back to the fans. I really do. They should be thanking me for all I do for TBW. I'm the most, nicest, doesn't cheat.
You're misunderstood. You just misunderstood. Is that what it is, you think?
Yes, I really think so. People don't understand me. So, yes.
Maybe it's the new floppy hair on the side. Maybe it's, you got like a Breakfast Club look. Maybe that's.
I don't know. My hair is a little kind of messed up today.
Well, I am not one to. I realize we're in prime time here on Sportswire. I feel like every time we're on the air, it's like the late night show with Sportswire Radio. But the point is that I am not going to give you advice when it comes to hair because I'm pretty much way past that point. So I couldn't help you with those things. But I have some comments here, which I'm sure people would like to grace their opinion.
And I'm gonna better be respectful. That's
Well,
all
I
I'm
don't know.
saying.
I actually have no idea what these comments are. So I guess we're just going to have to read them off and maybe get to some current events. And maybe I'll place some links on the screen here. But let me say hello to a lot of people here. There's so many of them, I actually lost count. I want to say hello. Speaking of Mr. LaFlame, he is the backyard darling right now, currently of the underground scene. And he's in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I guess in a way, I'll actually be acknowledging and bowing down to Mr. LaFlame. And Mr. LaFlame is trying to one-up you in the hardcore wrestling world because he is going to be a part of the NEW Underground Wrestling's Riot in the Ring coming up on June the 1st, which is 19 days from now. So Mr. LaFlame has seen so much from you these days, Atomic Titan. He's seen you from the Hardcore King, and all the hardcore wrestlers right now in this sport want no part of you. So he's decided the only way he can keep up with you and maybe even try to top you is to go to the other side of the country in Massachusetts, in Worcester, Massachusetts, to try to compete in this Riot in the Ring. So maybe that's what he's done, and I'm sure I'll talk to him about it when he gets inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
The hardcore king should have been invited to that. I would have won the whole thing.
So, well, why didn't you get your invite in the mail? Why didn't you get an invite?
I guess because they're afraid of, maybe me coming in there and taking out all of them. So maybe that's why, or maybe they didn't have enough pay to give me because I'm so expensive.
Oh, because you've got
the
CJ Block deal. So basically, we have to pay the limo and the hotel. And for you, since you're the hardcore king, I mean, we'd have to probably pay the entire state of Massachusetts to be able to get you there.
Yep. Right.
Fair enough. I mean,
where is CJ Black tonight? I thought he would be here.
Well, he technically lost the ROEW championship. He technically lost it, so maybe he's trying to regroup, even though Jacob Collins is no longer the ROEW world champion. So maybe Mr. Black and Mr. Storm are obviously coming up with, I guess, their own ideas. They have a tournament coming up for the ROEW World Heavyweight Championship, and maybe they wouldn't want to invite you into that because you would win that, and they wouldn't want to be able to have you as their champion. So maybe they just want to crown somebody else.
Jason Storm, you should give me an invite.
I think shouldn't every Fed give you an invite? I mean, I would think even at this point, there's this thing coming up called Summer Bash from July 5th to July 7th. And there's this guy, Sean Jovi, who's actually started this thing called the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Championship. And Mr. Jovi actually made the announcement on this platform. And yours truly's logo is actually on that championship belt. And yours truly is supporting Mr. Jovi in this endeavor. And maybe Mr. Jovi should have said, you know what? Forget about figuring out how to crown this championship, whatever it might be. Maybe just at July 5th through July 7th, Mr. Jovi should have just forgot about the whole thing and just given you the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Championship for everything that you've done for this sport, for everything that you've done for hardcore wrestling. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we should just bow down and acknowledge and respect you. And we shouldn't have any whatever they want to do in there in Summer Bash. The IMF and Mr. Jovi, and they should just give you that championship. Pay your fee to allow you your presence to be graced down there in the good state of Ohio with those good people, and just give you the championship, and we can move on and enjoy the rest of the Summer Bash.
You know what? I don't even have to wrestle for it. They can just mail it to me, and I'll just go from there.
Now, do you want that first class? Should that be first class mail? You don't want
that?
Yeah,
it should be here about in the next day or so.
Yeah, because you don't want to wait because you're the hardcore king. You shouldn't have to wait days from now.
Yeah.
Well, I have a bunch more comments here. Speaking of people though that have a lot of time on their hands outside of the IMF, Mr. Omen Black, it is his show after all, and here Wednesday night, and I'll maybe talk about that tomorrow as to why. But he calls you Queen Titan, but you're hardcore king. You're not queen.
I'm not queen. I'm king.
Yeah, you're a king. Maybe he's got some spelling issues. I think he meant to say hardcore Titan.
Maybe he's misinterpreting it because of what maybe Josh said or Manny Cobra.
So, I'm gonna get to that guy. Get to that guy. You hang on, because I got some questions
that guy sucks.
About Manny Cobra. But maybe he confused you with the big bad ball patch. That's what he probably can. Listen, forgive Omen. He's had a tough last 48 hours in the IMF. He went through a lot of rage in the cage, and he just confused you with the big bad bold patch. That's all. Don't
Yeah.
feel bad. Don't. It's okay.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
Yeah, don't. Like I said, he's had a rough last 48 hours. Want to say hello to one of my buddies there, Mr. Michael Christian, who was wearing my shirt on Instagram, and I don't do that for many people, but I shared it and I gave Mr. Christian a Sportswire shirt. So, and he says nice belt, and he'll be a part of things.
You're looking at the most prestigious championship, so it is very nice. I shine it up every single day. So yeah, it's pretty nice, and it's mine. It's gonna be forever mine.
It looks like more shinier than when my godfather used to drive around when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn with an Alfa Romeo. He had this fancy Alfa Romeo car, and he would drive it when just around this time of year it would finally start to get nice, and that car would look so shiny, and it looks more shiny, that championship belt, than his car. And that was a pretty expensive car in those days. And
I mean, it even looks better than the TBW World title or the Intercontinental title.
Well, I'm going to certainly leave those points out. And I'll let Gage Flair and Russell Cooper, certainly say how shiny their belts are. But I'm going to certainly say to don't break another mic, Rev. You can only afford one mic drop. Nah, I can afford plenty of mics. Trust me, I can afford about 10,000 USB cables. Do not feel too bad about me. Mr. Black, though, would like to say, unfortunately, he does not exchange pleasantries here. I am done wasting my time going back and forth with you. The talking is done, Titan. Like I told Stephen Havoc the other night, you are a name I need to cross off to cement my name in a list of greats.
Well, I mean, do you deserve it?
I'm asking you. You're the champion. Who am I to speak for you?
I mean, he wouldn't want me to show up because he wouldn't want to know what I'm going to do to him. It would be a bad day for Owen Black. It would be worse than whatever he went through this past weekend.
Well, he went through a lot. I mean, I can tell you, career versus career there, Mr. Black, in the IMF. But
wait, are you saying that he didn't lose, so his career's not over?
Well, I mean, it's wrestling. I don't really know how much should I divulge what I know, Mr. Black, and I know also, Mr. Titan. Actually, I should mention this because I didn't mention this the last time you were on the platform, and I would be a total knucklehead because I basically called other people on this platform a knucklehead over the last week. I would be a knucklehead if I didn't mention to the fact that Mr. Titan, that Mr. Black, myself, and Mr. Soldier GP own a portion of a company that you once led to the promised land in the Pride Wrestling Federation. So, we actually own a portion of that alongside Mr. Dalton Skull, who Mr. Skull is actually going to be here, by the way. Spoiler alert. He's going to be here on June the 8th. Mr. Skull is going to talk about that. And so obviously, I know that you feel like already you've done so much for us, Mr. Titan, by, obviously creating this company that we've all, continued to, obviously continue your legacy from. And, so you feel already that you don't have to face Mr. Black because just by you creating the Pride Wrestling Federation a few years ago and us taking it over, that you don't need to, test your hardcore skills and facing off with Mr. Black, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of, there's my thanks, there's my gratitude. You have Pride Wrestling Federation. They had a lot of promise. So, to you, Tom, and Omen Black, Soldier GP, Dalton, keep it going. And
well,
I hope
I certainly, I want to tell you, for those that are out there, Mr. Titan, I appreciate what you've done for us with the Pride Wrestling Federation. I appreciate the foundation, quote unquote, that you laid. And I always offer, Mr. Titan, you are more than welcome to have your input and say anytime in the Pride Wrestling Federation. And as somebody that does own a portion of that company, you are always welcome here. I can't speak for my colleagues, but you can speak for me and my share, Mr. Titan. You are always welcome.
I appreciate that. If there's anything, just hit my line.
I'm sure you'll be hitting my line for sure. Certainly, it does not make me think of the song "Ring My Bell" anytime soon, which was the famous verse was used in the Men in Black song for "Ring My Bell." But different conversation for a different time. I think you got your answer. Obviously, we'll see there. We're going back and forth there. Michael Christian, if we cross paths, I'd be happy to acquaint you with my Lego. Sit at a table, maybe light it on fire. We'll be in contact. You're wrong, Titan. You're wrong, Tom. I want to fight Titan more than anything.
Well, let's go then.
Well, you know what? This is fighting words because he just said that you might be as hardcore like that company that's really called Triple L with the big fat L, not a big fat J they're smoking.
You see,
That's
I'm not that
right.
much of a disappointment.
You're not disappointed with me, Mr. Titan. Never
No,
disappointed.
you see, no, I'm like, so I think I'm pretty kind of hardcore. Maybe not as hardcore as you, but you see,
No, you got the hardcore
yeah, I
championship.
got
I'm
the
surprised.
hardcore belt,
You
but
got
I'm
the
not like
belt.
I'm not doing deathmatch. I'm not but you see, I'm hardcore enough to hold this. See, I wasn't into this as a hardcore wrestler. I got put into the spot and now I have to lead it.
It
You see what
sounds
I
like
mean?
Mr. Black's opponent 48 hours ago, Damian Saint there. I'm
Yeah.
going to say nothing further. Would like to say hello to my friend Remy Ravage. Remy, how you doing, Remy? Good to see you, Remy. Remy likes the idea that you could be an AI wrestler. And Remy, we're going
That'd
to
be
be
pretty
seeing
cool.
in our good friends over in the state of Indiana for Explosive Championship Wrestling. Remy is one of my favorites there. The promoter, not so much. Promoter, not so much of a favorite of, but Remy is a favorite. Want to say hello to one of my good friends who is up at 12:36 p.m. Australian time tomorrow, Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. Yes, Ace is here with us. And Ace,
Nice.
I hope that you're off for school or college, whatever it might be, and you're here with us. And you'll interview Mr. Titan on your podcast because you are certainly always wired up. And you are somebody that I know will take the reins from me when I say something silly in about 15 minutes from now.
I
He
believe
also,
I've been on there once. Yeah.
yeah, he says hello to you, by the way. I
Hello.
like Ace. Ace is one of my favorites. Also, I'm sure you know this guy. You shared a
Yeah,
lot.
Jackson. Yeah, yeah,
He's an icon.
yeah.
He
There's a
got
lot I
out of
could
bed
say.
for this.
He's pretty good in the ring.
But he
We
says he
haven't.
got out of bed for this. What does the icon Jack Spade mean by this though? He
I
got out
mean,
of bed.
who wouldn't get out of bed for this one? I mean, you want to see your hardcore king. That's what it is. Everybody
Awesome.
wants to be here.
I actually made sure I was home 45 minutes earlier than I was supposed to because I need to respect my hardcore king. You know,
And
I had to make sure that I cut everything what I was doing to make sure I was here in time.
yeah, me and Jack Spade haven't really crossed paths yet in the ring. I believe we might have. Didn't I think
Didn't you
Battlefield?
guys cross one of the resurrection shows? If I'm not mistaken. Didn't you guys?
Battlefield, I believe
Yeah,
we
didn't you
possibly.
touch? Yeah, well, I'm sure Mr. Spade will remind us of that. He has a
Yeah,
very good
something
memory.
like that.
Want to say hello to Mr. Sean Joe because I name dropped him, and as I said, when Mr. Jovi was probably listening, that he should just give you the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Championship and forget this whole thing, whatever he's going to do to decide a
Mail it
champion.
to me.
And just mail it to him. I'm sure Mr. Titan can DM you his address, and you mail it first class, and we'll have a funny moment or two on Sportswire with it. Also, speaking of people, the longest reigning national champion in Resurrection Wrestling history, Mr. Drake Dragon. He says, "What's up? How you doing?" And want to say hello to one of my favorites, also in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Mr. Dirty Donnie of the IMF, 4 up, 4 down. Somebody didn't like that. Mr. Jovi said this week on the Quest, I'll be announcing how the title will be determined at Summer Bash. So will that mean that maybe this is what we're going to be seeing? And you're going to get that title mailed, right?
Yeah, or maybe I should come there, put me in a title match.
But I thought you
I'll
didn't
win
want
it.
it. I thought you just
I
wanted the
mean,
title mailed to you.
he's saying that he's gonna be like determining it. So
So that could be you
mail
getting
it.
the title mailed.
Yeah, I want it mailed. That's what.
I thought, don't spoil it there for us. Maybe that's the whole plan all along. Maybe
It might be.
maybe Mr. Jovi said, you know what, Tom, forget about it for the audience, the vlog. I'm just gonna say, you know what, forget about whatever I'm gonna determine. We're just giving it to Atomic Titan. He's just been too good for too long, and he's just a hardcore king.
Yep.
Gotta fix that turtleneck there. Almost
Yeah,
like
it's
you're the
kind of.
president now. Like that's what the president does. They fix their dress and their suit and tie, and speaking of people that who I think is still wrestling or not wrestling, I kind of lost count and forgot. My good buddy Chase Wakefield. Good evening, gentlemen. Hello, Mr. Wakefield. I hope to see you. And Mr. Wakefield looks a little different these days because he cut his hair, but still
Oh,
doesn't.
really?
He doesn't still look as good as you, but he has a different look. Some people have compared him to Spider-Man, Peter Parker, but I'm going to just say he's still a Bitcoin billionaire, right? But good to see you, Chase. Hope to see you soon. Speaking of people that you may know, his name is James Taylor, the Nemesis. He is the host of the Nemesis Sessions. You've certainly shared a locker room with him. I would like to show my ultimate respect to the king of podcast shows. But I don't
show
think he
the
mentioned
respect to you.
but he didn't mention you.
Why didn't he show the respect to me? I mean, I am the hardcore king.
I don't
But
know.
I
That's
mean,
a good question.
I agree with him. You're a
Well,
podcast king. I'm the hardcore king.
I certainly want to say that I want to always respect my hardcore king, and I always
Yes.
want to bow down to you. But I'm sure Mr. Taylor will explain himself. Boy, a lot of people want to talk to you tonight. Seems that people are just, you know, I'd like to say hello to some people here. First of all, rest in peace, Tiny Titans hardcore title reign. When Deathmatch Daddy gets a hold of your fill in the blanks, you'll be lucky to have your guts and fingernails left. Commissioner Josh Allen has already signed the contract.
Already signed
DMC.
the contract. Maybe this is actual competition for me. I mean, that's what I've needed for a long time. You could agree everybody I've went through is literally nothing.
But what about, I don't know, Manny Cobra, the Puerto Rican nightmare?
Oh,
That
that
name ring a bell?
loser. That
Um,
loser.
yeah, I mean, he's been talking about the fact that, you haven't beat him yet for that championship.
I mean, he's a man of the past. I've already beat him. So,
You beat him the first time he competed in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, correct? At Summer Bash
yeah, and
in 2021?
in my eyes, he's still like a rookie. He hasn't improved. He's literally nothing to me. See, that's why I'm not accepting his challenge. Maybe
Why
I should
not?
accept this guy's challenge. Tom, I'm not going to be giving a match to somebody that doesn't deserve it. Literally, he can come back in and sneak attack me and think he deserves a chance at this.
But why did you attack him in his match, though, with your old nemesis, Jacob Young?
I mean, that was just me giving him some revenge. That's what I had to do. I'm not going to let anybody just do that to me. So,
So you gave him his receipt, quote unquote.
yeah, receipt, it was just a bit of revenge there because of what he did to me at no return. When Jacob Young was supposed to be bowing down, he was about to be bowing down on his knees right there and respecting me, but Manny Cobra costed that. He interrupted it.
Do you
And,
think, well, maybe Jacob Young doesn't have many knees left after what you've done to him over the past?
Probably not. So, yeah, but Manny Cobra, that guy, he's a loser. He's a guy of the past. He's just like every other wrestler. He wants and wants, but he's not going to give to the sport. He's just going to come in and demand things. And Manny Cobra doesn't deserve anything. He's literally a jobber. He's
A
not
jobber. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know. Now, can you tell me, because I know nothing about wrestling, Mr. Titan. I do not proclaim to be a wrestler, unlike some that have come and tried to lecture me about their training skills. And I don't know much about these terms because I'm no insider. But can you tell me what you exactly mean by a jobber? Because I don't know what that means.
Loser, not good.
So you basically calling him a loser.
He don't have that star power like I do. He hasn't took Tennessee Backyard Wrestling to the next level like
So
I'm
you
currently
don't think
doing.
the cigarette smoking when he's basically talking to you, you don't think that really impresses you with the cigarette smoking? Almost kind of reminds me of
he'll probably get gassed from that, so he's not gonna be able to keep up with me if I do.
You wouldn't know
accept
much
his
about that,
challenge.
obviously, right?
Nope.
Nah.
You see, I don't do none of that. So
The kids out there certainly know that you're a good role model, right?
Yeah, I am the greatest role model on screen.
I
off
actually do
screen.
have, it's funny you said I actually do have kids that watch this platform, actually. I have people
That's
that message
good.
me. Yeah.
Kids, if you're watching, you can look up to me, a guy like me, a real champion, not a fake champion like Gage Flair or Russell Cooper. I'm the real champ. I'm the real deal in backyard wrestling, all of backyard wrestling. If you want to say that, all of wrestling, professional wrestling as well.
No, you know what? Why not just keep going? Maybe WWE, throw them in there.
WWE, I'm better than, you can say I'm better than Cody Rhodes. I'm better than, Logan Paul. I'm the man.
You're the man. Listen, Swerve Strickland has nothing on you. I don't know. Matt Cardona has nothing on you. Isn't he, a deathmatch king now, apparently? Isn't he now an indie hardcore darling? He has nothing on you.
Yeah, something like that.
Ilya Dragunov came to Raw. He has nothing on you. Well, listen, forget about all of them. Damian Priest, nothing on you. We'll move along. Sounds like a bunch of excuses.
Excuses?
Speaking of people that are here. Mr. CJ Black. Are you guys good? I don't know. Where do you guys fall on the
I
side of
guess
the
he
coin?
was mad because I posted about Jacob Collins winning
Yeah.
the belt, but I
I think
really
I
didn't
was the smart
agree.
one and actually said nothing on it until I actually watched this past Saturday. And Jason Storm, the owner of ROEW, talked about why Mr. Collins was stripped of the championship due to some illegal interference. And that's why I think I actually did the right thing and let the process play out. But,
I
it
mean,
was.
it was illegal interference. I mean, CJ Black should have been handed that belt right back to him.
So,
That's how I
but
feel about it.
Mr. Storm could just, rectify the wrong and just hand you the championship belt for everything
I
you've
mean,
done.
you could do that as well. I mean, or you can mail it to me. I'll
Well,
wear
and
it
I
at
think
anniversary.
Michigan and Tennessee are a little closer than Wisconsin and Tennessee. So, maybe that would be a good way for him to do things. Mr. Spade said that you guys also crossed paths at the Revenge Rumble.
Oh yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
That was when I was that dumb dragon of the past. Barely remember that time.
Yeah.
This is the moment I want to be in right now.
Well,
So
speaking of people, though, that want to say a bunch of things to you, and they're actually from NEW, Underground Wrestling. And yeah, this is a company that sort of has some history in a small way with Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And I'm going to first go with my guest last night, Mr. Stephen Havoc, a man that is a well-accomplished hardcore wrestler. And he's going to be in the Riot in the Ring on June 1st, would say, hey, kid, if you're looking for an education, I can teach you a thing about being hardcore.
I am the hardcore king. I don't need a lesson on being hardcore. I've I've been doing this a while, so maybe I could teach you some things.
Well, he's been around since actually even before James Taylor was doing it once
Oh
upon.
wow, okay. So he's like barely halfway into the retirement home like him.
The difference would be that Mr. Havoc is still doing hardcore death matches and he's doing death ladder matches. That's the difference. Mr. Havoc is
That's actually impressive.
yeah,
So
he's a real he just lets it go in the ring. So he'd
my
be one of those
respect
guys.
goes out to you.
Smart. There was some smart comments there about Mr. Havoc. But I want to say hello to some people, by the way, that we should actually, in all seriousness, bow down to and acknowledge. That is our backyard wrestling ambassador, our Dave Meltzer, Mr. Superstar himself. He is the man that is obviously the official scoring system for all wrestling here, and that is Mr. Copper Dragon, the legendary Copper Dragon, who we inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I want to thank James Taylor for interviewing him and giving me the opportunity to speak with Mr. Dragon. And I don't know if you've been acquainted with Mr. Dragon, but he liked to say earlier, I thought I heard someone say star power, and he put 7 stars.
I mean, I might be the next to be 10 stars on your platform.
Well, actually, I believe he does 7 stars plus. So
okay.
technically, you could be that 7-star person.
That would be amazing. And then I could rub it in CJ Black's face.
So you know what? So Mr. Dragon, obviously, because you work for the mothership, you're the man of the mothership of all companies. He'll review one of your matches, maybe the one with Alan Michaels, my old buddy. No, not even that. How about the one with Jacob Young where you dismantled him? And maybe he'll rate that match, let's say 9.9, and then give you a bonus because he does 7 stars, but because you're obviously above 7 stars, that he'll just do so well in terms of reviewing what you did that he'll just give you a 9.9.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just that great that I think I deserve that. So if you would like to rate my matches, go check them out.
Well, if you'd like to actually rate them, you can follow Tennessee Backyard Wrestling in the links below, and also follow Mr. Titan right here on Instagram. So if you'd like to check him out, if you want to follow Mr. Titan, you can certainly do so there. And let me get to one of my buddies out there who is from NEW also. He is D Savage. He's competing for their world championship at All Out War 9. Wins this summer bash. D Savage might be interested. It's July 5th to July 7th. You can get in touch with the guys in the IMF, DKW, or the resident rock star Sean Jovi. If you really want to, you can message me, D Savage, and I'll point you in the right direction. But before I do anything else, I also want to say from Mr. Black, quick shout out to Jacob Collins, the cheater, the sinner, the fornicator. I haven't heard fornicator mentioned recently, so credit to Mr. Black for that. Jason Storm made the right move, overturning that horrible hardcore world title win, whatever you want to call it. I can't see clearly.
Right.
When the glasses check. Yep. I think that was cowardly of Storm to do that to CJ. For Mr. Collins, okay, I'll come back to that. But I want to bring a comment up from somebody that actually you just addressed. And I'm not talking about Stephen Havoc. I'm not talking about Copper Dragon, although I think you were very respectful of Mr. Dragon because you obviously want that, 10-star rating. But this is a guy named Manny Cobra, the guy that you said you wouldn't face. He's got a couple comments. Could I
What does he have to
bring up
say?
what he has to say? Only if you insist, Mr.
It's probably him crying, honestly, about it. So
You think so?
Yeah, bring it up. So
I don't even know what he said, so I'm gonna let you know and read it off for the first time. The hardcore queen doesn't stop running his mouth, but won't accept my challenge. You're a lame champion to the backyard business, a little ant that comes up with lame excuses and cries too much and also hides. He says zero huevos, which can you tell me what huevos means? If you
I
don't
think
mind
that means 0 balls.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it as huevos. We are a family station, and the kids do me on Sportswire. But thank you, Mr. Cobra, for your rather interesting comments. And what would you like to say toward Mr. Cobra?
Well, I mean, like I said, it was probably like him crying once again. He wants to call me lame. See, bring back up that comment so I can exactly see what he said once again.
Okay, I'll read it off for the second time.
So he wants to call me a queen, and then he wants to say I don't stop running my mouth, and I won't accept his challenge. I'm lame. I'm a little ant, and I have lame excuses. Manny Cobra, just cut the crap, man. It's not going to be that easy. I'll even take something that Johnny J said. You're like Gen Z. All you do is go on social media and complain.
But wouldn't you be a part of Gen Z?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know, maybe. But, I'm not a part of that. But yeah, you see, I'm not going to accept your challenge. It's not going to be that easy. And it's not going to happen at anniversary. So your best option is to stay at home on the couch with your little family and watch me do what I do best. Because here in the next few weeks, coming up, maybe possibly the next episode, Joshua Allen will find me a real challenger. And it better be somebody good.
But you just mentioned Joshua Allen's name, and he talked about the fact if you don't change your ways, he's going to give you a pink slip. And we went through
he's basically giving me 1 week, and if I don't accept the challenge, I'm fired. So you know what? If I'm fired, so well. I'll go somewhere else.
But who would take you, though? But who do you think would take you? You've basically said to these other feds, you don't want to wrestle. You don't need to wrestle. You should basically just be crowned their feds champions.
You're right.
There's a lot of feds here that they're hearing this, and, I don't know if they may want to sign you after some of these comments, Mr. Titan.
I mean, maybe I'll just disappear. What are they going to do? Strip me of the title? Take it away?
But that means so much to you, that championship.
I'll just leave with it, maybe defend it somewhere else.
But how can you defend a championship somewhere else if you get fired?
What are they going to send out? Like I was a bad employee or something?
Mr. Titan, I obviously have a lot of sympathy for you, and I know you're a misunderstood individual, but there apparently is somebody that wants to say something to you, and I can assure you that this person is going to certainly, I'm sure, make you think about some of the things you've said. But I think I have a duty to bring this person onto the platform. I know you may not want to see them, but
who is it? Which lame person is this?
Well, I wouldn't want to disrespect anybody that comes on the platform, especially those that might be a Puerto Rican nightmare.
Oh, wow.
In terms of the man that has certainly been calling you out over the past few weeks, has been making your life a living hell. He is back on this platform. He is the former TBW Hardcore Champion. In his mind, he'd like to be the future TBW Hardcore Champion and win it for the second time. I am talking about none other than the Puerto Rican Nightmare, Manny Cobra. Manny, how you doing here tonight, my friend? And I'm sure you've heard a lot about Mr. Titan. I'm going to give you the floor and fire away.
Disrespectful,
man. By the way, Tom, what's up, man?
This is my time.
Man.
It's been a hot skip in a minute, but you certainly made your way back with us. Always good to have you, Manny. You're always one of my favorites, and nice to see you.
It's been an honor, man.
Got my TBW shirt on, making sure I always represent. As you know, I always tell people at this point, every time I go on a show, it's almost like I got to put my work uniform on. Tonight's uniform is my TBW shirt.
Oh yeah.
So what do you have to say? Are you gonna come here and
Oh,
cry and complain again? Are
and
you
that
gonna
that TBW hardcore queen, man. Where you
you
at,
gonna
man?
you gonna reach through the screen and grab me by the throat
Is that
or
possible?
Oh
something?
no.
I
Is that
mean, you never know.
Oh no. Where you at, man? You gonna set my challenge or not? Queen's Quest?
I don't think I'm gonna accept the challenge because you see, you don't simply deserve it. I've been saying that. And what I did to you on last week's episode, that was simply revenge. I had to do
Revenge.
that. Yeah. You see, you wanted to try to cost me at no return when I was trying to make Jacob Young bow down, and you want to come out there and sneak attack me. That's all you're good at.
Nobody should bow down to some drama queen on TBW. Second of all, you call yourself a champ. Why
I'm the
don't you
champ.
accept my challenge? And by the way,
Uh,
Black Fox, if you listening, what's my thank you at?
you see, I think it's gonna be a no. It's still a no. It's
Gonna
not
be a
gonna be.
no.
It's not gonna be. It's not ever gonna be a yes. Josh Allen needs to give me some real competition if you're listening.
But you know, Mr. Titan, can you do that though? Because Mr. Allen, again, Manny, help me remind me. Didn't Mr. Allen say that if you don't accept Mr. Cobra's challenge, that you could get that pink slip? And we've already went over that in the last few
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
That the pink slip you get. I mean, you can't take that championship with you and defend it in other promotions.
You really
It's
think
not
he's
free.
gonna do that to me? If I
He said
leave,
Let me
he
be
said he
remind.
that's a
would.
draw.
I mean, I
Let
have
me
to
be
take
remind.
him for his word, though. He said it.
He's just trying to pressure me into saying I'm gonna accept the challenge, and that's not gonna happen because if he loses me, he loses money, he loses his viewership, he might even
He seems
lose
to be prepared to do
his
that.
subscribers.
He seems to be prepared, though.
It's just a scare tactic. That's all it is.
There ain't
He
no
talked
scare
about though
tactic.
that that he even brought up that my friend Alan Michaels, who's an analyst and on my show Friday nights, and Alan and I actually have a clip. Actually, Alan and I have a clip on social media on TikTok, as a matter of fact, that has 30,000 views. And Mr. Allen actually brought up that match and said that his foot was on the ropes and you really shouldn't have won that match. Now, I do agree with you, Mr. Titan, that a win's a win.
You
But
have
Mr.
evidence
Allen
of that? You have
Mr. Allen
evidence?
seems to be upset with you though right now, even with that match.
I know, but do you have evidence of that? That foot on the rope? Because I never seen it. I
Well,
told
I
Joshua Allen that too.
I have the TBW YouTube page up if you want.
I mean,
could
I never seen the footage.
I don't think you want me to put the footage up because I actually could do that right now.
Yes,
The referee
please,
must
please
have
do.
been
Please
referee
do.
must have been
Please
blind.
Oh, if you want, if you know Manny Cobra, if you insist, I actually will do that for those that are
Look,
listening and
please
watching.
do.
on
Look,
Sports Already.
referee must have been blind, but that was a fair win right there.
Nah.
Fair win every time I
Your
step
your
in that ring is
victory your
fair.
victory on that match was a fluke.
A flip? Wait. Say, I never seen this footage, so if
Well, you
somehow
know
I
what?
haven't
It looks
seen,
like I got something here
let's
for you.
see. Let's
Because
see.
we're going to actually, for those that are listening and watching, by the way, if you're out there, you haven't followed TBW, please follow TBW. There you go.
You see that? There you go.
Where-
There you
wait,
go.
On the ropes.
Wait a
Atomic
minute.
Titan.
Wait.
It's there. The foot is on the ropes.
Oh, all I see is wait.
Let me put that back up for you, Mr. Titan.
Oh,
Let me
I
put that
didn't.
back up for you, Mr. Titan. I'm gonna
I
put
didn't.
it.
I
Right
didn't
back.
see that. You see, and that's where it should have ended right there.
But he kicked out.
Yeah, barely. But you see, it's hard to tell. I don't
Alan,
have.
next time you're on the air, make sure
I
you pull your pants up. That's
I
all.
don't really have I don't have glasses on. I can't really see. So
Well, now for those that are listening and watching, this is where we're gonna put the foot back on. There we go. See, there it was.
wait, what? He just touched.
His foot was on the rope. On the rope.
That's hard to tell. See, he's tapping.
There you
Wait,
go. It's right there. It's right there.
Look, it was probably after he was tapping.
I mean, the evidence is there, Mr. Titan. I agree with you. Win's a win, but Manny Cobra's got a point. Joshua Allen's got a point, but Manny Cobra is here. And he has said that he's not stopping until he gets what he wants. He's called you a drama queen. He's called you a hardcore queen. He's basically spit on your run as champion. He's a former champion. We saw he was very impressive with Jacob Young. I mean, you came in there, certainly, quote unquote, paid the receipt, but Manny is here. And, Manny wants something tonight. And Manny has said he's going to not stop until he gets what he wants from you, is a shot at that championship you're holding.
Maybe you could go through maybe a number one contenders match or something along those lines.
Why so?
I mean, maybe you could face Jacob Young or Joe Anderson.
He just faced them. He just faced Jacob Young.
Did you beat him?
No, you tell me.
I mean, I come out and kind of costed that match and got
It
my
sounded to
revenge.
me watching that match, it looked to me as if Mr. Cobra was in control and he was going to comfortably win that match. You came out there, you obviously wanted to show what you wanted, and I guess for your reasons, you explained that was basically giving a receipt back to Mr. Cobra.
Yeah, I had to show my presence. I had to show who the real hardcore king is. It's not you or Jacob Young or Joe or anybody.
First thing first, there's no king in this backyard business.
I'm the king, and if I do accept the
you're
challenge,
nothing but a stick joke. A paper champion.
A paper champ. You see how much I've been putting my body on the line.
Running away.
Manny, I actually want to ask you that as we are here right now with Manny Cobra, the Puerto Rican Nightmare, and also Atomic Titan, who is the hardcore king, the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history, and your current hardcore champion. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. If you're out there on YouTube, hit that sub button for us. We're at Sportswire Radio 6579. We're on Twitch at Sportswire Radio, Twitter at Thomas Price 2017, and via the Listen Live button on sportswireradio.org. And I'm going to be back here coming up tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Justin Abel Sane from NEW Underground Wrestling. And Thursday night, I will be here with D'Angelo the Flame, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, to induct him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But, Manny, I want to ask you a question before I get some comments. I know you're a busy man, but, we've been talking a lot over the past, I would say, week or two on Sportswire Radio with a who's who of hardcore wrestlers. The likes of Mac 10. Obviously, you guys know Mac 10 very well, and especially you, Manny. Mac 10's Carnage Cup, very respected hardcore deathmatch wrestler. We've had guys on here like Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, Omen Black. We've had guys from NEW, Jake Matthews, who's certainly a name that's been well respected in the backyard. Obviously, guys like Stephen Havoc, who's a legend here in the New York hardcore wrestling scene. We've had on even guys out there from other places like D Savage, who jumped in on comments. We've had a whole list of people in the hardcore wrestling scene over the past, I would say, 10 to 14 days. And it seems to me, when they're on this platform, even though Atomic Titan, to me, might be a hardcore king, they don't seem to acknowledge him in their status, in their level. So I guess for you then, you might want to personally take that hardcore title away from Mr. Titan to kind of add some prestige to the BBW Hardcore Championship, and maybe from your vantage point, give it back to a wrestler that would certainly be worthy of a conversation with a who's who of respected hardcore wrestlers that have been on this platform here over the past, I would say, 10 to 14 days. Is that a fair statement?
I should be respected, honestly. I should be at the very top of that list of most respected hardcore wrestlers. I put my body on the line every single week, every month at a event.
But those guys don't seem to. The Omen Black, he was here tonight, and he certainly had no love for you. Damian Saint was here Thursday night. He's another respected hardcore wrestler. Sean Jovi's even dabbled into some of it. I mean, we've had guys on here, Jake Matthews, D Savage, Stephen Havoc, Mac 10. I mean, Mac 10 had a lot to say about you on Saturday's show. I mean, there's just been I lost count of people that have been in the hardcore, in the deathmatch wrestling scene over the past several days, and they don't seem to be putting you in their category. And seems like Manny Cobra might be doing it because he wants to have the TBW Hardcore Championship in that same category again with those names. And I know it just doesn't seem like those names are putting Atomic Titan with them. I mean, they're not to say they're putting you in the same category as the likes of the Big Bad Bold Patch or C2K, who certainly is maybe a relic as a 2K computer, if that's still such a thing, if anybody still owns those, or Skulls, who calls himself a wrestling promoter in open and closed parentheses, Tyler Ark. These recent on Sportswire Radio. And, not to say that you're in that same class in hardcore wrestling, but these individuals don't seem to be putting you in their status either. So you don't want to give Mr. Cobra, though, this shot, though. You don't want to give him a title? No? Title shot?
That's
no?
not going to happen. You're going to have to make me say it if you really want it. But I'm not going to. You're not going to get those words out of my mouth. Because Jacob Young didn't get I bow down. It wasn't that easy. I never said that.
By the way, are you drinking zero by some chance? Because you did put zero in your last comment.
But you see, Tom, I should be respected. I am the hardcore king.
No, I respect you, Mr. Titan, but seems like yes,
people want to come for my throne. It's hard being at the top because everybody's coming for you. They want your fame. They want your name. They want to be the hardcore king.
I want to ask you one slight detour of a question, Mr. Titan. And I want to, before I do that, say hello to a few people out there. My good buddy from DBW, Dominant Breakout Wrestling, Mr. Big Tex, the big man of DBW. And also my very good buddy, Justin Parsley, two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. He's a big fan of yours. He says, "Go Atomic Titan," abbreviated as GOAT. So he seems to respect you, and I respect you as well. But,
finally.
Mr. Titan, I want to ask you, though, something, if you don't mind. I know Mr. Cobra is here. He's an employee at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, but there was an individual that had made a post on his Instagram story putting the words 518. And that was a name that a lot of people thought might have been dead, might have been a figment of people's imaginations. And that name might have been a name I'm sure you'd like to forget, but it's apparently the one that once upon a time was not only maybe the ruler of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, but he was the true ruler of the backyard wrestling scene as a whole. The man that was the champion in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, also the United States champion for over 500 plus days for that world championship. I'm talking about none other than Ledger Shade. And to quote a band that my father used to be a fan of called Poker Harem, it seems like Mr. Ledger Shade maybe has a white shade of pale, and he put the words 518 there. And Mr. Titan, I was wondering, what was that about? The big talk right now. It's a big topic right now.
Yeah.
Backyard wrestling.
I've had messages about it. Personally, I really don't know. I'll be honest.
Does he work for you guys still?
No.
He doesn't. So 518 has nothing to do with you guys then.
It must be maybe a indie debut. Possibly, I don't know.
Another peculiar though, right? That the word 518 would come up.
518 seems pretty familiar because it's the day of anniversary. But that doesn't mean it has anything to do with Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. So
I just thought that people his name hasn't come up. His name is
stay tuned. You never know.
Yes, I mean, I guess never say never, right? Anything can happen in wrestling, but that's a name that I don't think's been mentioned in months, at least as far as I can check. And on this platform, I don't think his name has been even referenced, other than a guy that used to work in your company still referred to him as the champion, which was Xavier Thorne, which he actually I was like, Mr. Thorne, you might want to speed up on your Tennessee Backyard Wrestling knowledge.
Yeah, you might want to go watch. But yeah, I don't have no idea anything. So, just stay tuned. Maybe for anniversary.
But could there be an AI version of a Ledger Shade?
Possibly. I don't know.
Okay, so basically, though, 518, Ledger Shade, just who knows? Basically,
Who knows? There's been no talks, so, but you never know.
But just peculiar that Mr. Shade hasn't
Yeah,
been
it's
heard of
very.
in months. I mean, nobody's heard a peep from him.
Yeah, it's not been months. It's been
I mean,
months.
you have people like James and Taylor and Anthony Steele. They're always here, right? You always
Yeah,
hear about them in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. But Mr. Shade has been pretty quiet. I mean, it's been a rather almost as if the shade has been just pulled up on front of the window over these past several months. Kind of like, like those window curtains where the shade is pulled up and we haven't heard a thing. So, okay, fair enough.
yeah.
But you're not going to give Mr. Cobra this championship shot here, huh?
I'm not going to. It's
No?
not that easy. Like I said, so Manny, when I'm at anniversary, yeah, come a little closer so you can hear me. Yeah, when I'm at anniversary doing what I do best, you sit home on your couch with your little family and you watch Atomic Titan still be the hardcore king because that's my show. Anniversary is my show.
That's your show. Who you facing anniversary? A teddy bear?
An AI version of Atomic
You know
Titan.
what? Joshua Allen might give me the night off because that's what
Really?
I
You would
got
give me the night off?
Yeah.
I don't need to defend this title.
Yo, ¿qué pasa? You don't need no night off. You're a champion. You're holding a title.
I might enter the Macon Iron Cup Battle Royal. I might win that thing.
Wow.
But there
Still
will be
running
no
away
hardcore
from a
title defended
challenge.
at anniversary.
Still
Well,
running
Mr.
away
Cobra,
from a
I wish I
challenge.
could unfortunately
No,
have helped you out here a little bit.
Let me
I tried.
refresh everybody's memory. Remember what I said? If you don't give me what I want, there's more pain to come, right?
Yep.
Your little receipt that happened, no big deal. But let me remind you what Josh said to you. You got 1 week to set my challenge. You bouncing out.
Yeah, I could go back to, maybe
Or
UWA or
you could bounce
maybe start
out.
PWF.
I did say, Mr. Titan, you would be welcome. I would welcome you back. With my share of the company, I would welcome you back. I certainly know that I would fight for you with my colleagues. I can't, certainly tell you what my colleagues would think, but there are promotions out there. But I guess we'll have to see. But Manny, I wish I could have got you a little bit of a better answer. I guess we're going to maybe have to wait and see. But
I'll see you Thursday. Watch your back. Watch your back.
Nah.
Be watching your back. That's all I'm going to say. Watch your back. You never know when I'm coming.
Nah. I'm your worst nightmare, kid.
We'll see about it.
Well, Manny, good to see you, my friend. We'll see if you get that championship shot.
Now get off my show. Get off my show. You don't deserve to be here. Get out.
Mr. Titan, that was the most curt I've ever seen you. Maybe it's the pressure. I bring up Ledger Shade of all people, who hasn't brought up in this platform in months. Then you have Manny Cobra, the way you brush him off the platform. And,
yeah, he don't.
It's good to be here. Tough for you. The pressure's getting to you, man. Maybe the pressure's getting to you.
I told you he was gonna come here and try to
You know what you remind me of right now, Mr. Titan? You remind me almost in a way. I hate to bring this up, but the famous New Jack City movie with Wesley Snipes as Nino Brown. You both wear black, and you're just killing everybody. You're running all over the hardcore scene, and you're dealing with these people like Manny Cobra and Alan Michaels, who's trying to stay trendy. I mean, Alan Michaels was knocking you, saying how you used to be a fan favorite and now you're not, and he talked about your run, and certainly Mr. Allen wants to fire you. Maybe the pressure is just getting to you. It very well could be, but I guess
they want me gone. They don't. If they lose me, TBW goes down. It's the simple facts.
It's the fact. So without you, there's just can't do anything, right?
I've been there since the very beginning. I've left. The viewership went down, and then when I came back, it went back up, and it's keeping to grow as my hardcore reign goes on. So Josh Allen would make a big mistake if he lost me. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd probably be over there crying, begging me to come back. And
yeah. Well, Mr. Cobra wants to say TikTok, and then there's this comment here. So I'm going to leave that here. Obviously, I know it's tough for you. I know it's very tough for you right now, Mr. Titan. I know you're really going through, a number of different things, a real number of different things here.
Yeah.
But this ring a bell to you? Oh, baby! What an intro is that? How about that for you?
The day I was born, the song gathered round.
Can we say that?
Turn that crap off.
We got it. We got the point.
And you really want to bring this guy on
That
here?
song never gets old, people. I tell you, that's the greatest intro
Mr. Allen,
in rock
now you're
history.
right. Now that was pretty clever
Oh
on
my
Sportzwire.
gosh.
You got to admit, that was clever.
My night couldn't get any worse.
If my night could get any... My night has been awful because I've been hearing you for talk for the past hour and a half.
I mean, it's
whining,
greatness.
complaining.
Complaining.
You have been whining.
I'm doing fine.
You have been whining. You've been complaining, and you still will not accept Manny's challenge round 37. Why? Does he doesn't deserve it? Is he not worthy of it? I mean, you went through
that.
He's not
Mr.
worthy.
Allen. He kind of did mention that.
You know what? Everybody you have put me up against, whether it's Jacob Young or your brother this season, or let's see, who else have I faced?
Alan Michaels, you faced.
Alan Michaels. All the
by
people
the way,
have not
we
been
did
worthy.
actually play the footage, Mr. Allen, and Mr. Michaels, my buddy, my colleague, his foot was on the rope, and I was telling Mr. Titan that my colleague, Mr. Michaels, who, by the way, is going to be in a competitive eating contest next Friday, by the way, cheap plug, 10 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to see how many Big Macs Alan Michaels eats. But Mr. Michaels and I actually have a clip on TikTok together with 30,000 views. So he seems to be definitely staying trendy these days, to my help, more or less. But different conversation for a different time. But Mr. Allen, that's all Mr. Titan's been saying the whole evening, that he's not facing anybody. He's done, and he even wants to walk into the sunset, basically, away from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling and take that championship away, the richest hardcore prize in this sport, away from you guys. And I don't know if the other feds will take him, though. It seems like they don't seem to be too thrilled with him either. So Mr. Titan might be a man without a country, more or less.
Well, I get what he's trying to do here. He's trying to pull the CM Punk here, but it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. If you don't accept this challenge, and by the way, you got until 162, the final show before you got to that episode, to walk your turtleneck-looking ass out there and accept.
How dare you disrespect me like that? You were supposed to be my boss, and you're disrespecting me.
What?
You should be praising me for all I've done. You should be praising me.
The whole
praise me right now. Come on.
How can I respect a whole reign that has been ridiculous? You finally saw the footage of Michael's foot on the rope. It was awesome.
Listen, I couldn't really see it because I don't have glasses on, so I couldn't really see it. So it was hard to see. It was hard to see. I'm kind of blurry right now.
And then you go on to face the Texas Hangman and Clown on Rampage. How do you win that match? You hit him with the belt. He wins by DQ. You have done every way known to mankind to weasel your way out of a championship defense, but you are not going to weasel your way out of this one, because Manny Cobra is going to get his rightfully match against you at number 7, whether you like it or not, because you have until episode 162 to accept that, because if you don't, you're out of a job. And by the way, you're not taking the belt with you. That belt is
it's right here with me.
Tennessee Backyard Wrestling property. You will not take that with you.
Are you going to file a lawsuit against me or something?
Well, other fans have done that before champions. Why not?
I might just pull the CJ Black and do that myself. I might just do that.
And you're being for a lawsuit. I'll sue you right now.
Oh, sue me. What are you going to take? You're going to take the company from me?
I mean, maybe I should be the general manager. Maybe I should be owner, founder. You know what? If it was in my hands, I'd be running things pretty better than you are.
You tried that once.
Listen, I think, Mr. Titan, we respect you, Mr. Titan, but I think we would not want to see you, unlike some other people that have come on this platform recently that quote unquote told us that they were promoters and then told us that they were wrestlers, but also making themselves a hardcore champion too. I would say the best advice, and I love you, Mr. Titan.
Yeah.
I would say that would not want to be a wise move on your part. I think the move would be Mr. Allen run Tennessee Backyard Wrestling because he seems to be doing a pretty good job with it, though.
I don't know about it.
Well, of course,
we're going to find out, though, because we have not only Anniversary 7 coming up, we also have Macon Iron Fitness. We have the Macon Iron Cup coming up here, anniversary. Congratulations to everybody here. And also, by the way, since I'm going to mention it again, next month, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling as a whole is going to be formally inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So Mr. Allen seems like he's doing a pretty good job because last I checked, he's the owner of the company. And Mr. Titan, you're certainly welcome to join us. I mean, obviously, I know you're certainly a loyal TBW employee. You've obviously been a good soldier. You've obviously been a
How
great
long is the case?
I understand that. I was being facetious a little bit. But the point is, Mr. Titan, you are currently an employee of the company. You'd be more than welcome to join us. And we have that date. But, it's a great moment for the company. And Mr. Allen's the owner, though. I mean, I don't know if that would have been accomplished if you would be the owner of the company.
You know what? What would be best if he would get out of this mindset, and me and Joshua Allen, we could work together. We both started.
But Mr. Titan, think of it like this: you had the PWF, and you're no longer an owner of that company, and you obviously put it in the good hands of yours truly and a few other people. So why would you want to go and be an owner of a company like TBW? That would almost make you seem hypocritical. You don't want to be like everybody else that's on the platform. You want to actually be a hardcore king that you say you are and, go out there and give the people what they want.
Yeah, but, maybe me and him could bring back the industry or Bad Company from the old past. And, we've done it once. We could do it again.
I don't know.
That sounds like a line that Damian Saint used on Omen Black on Saturday. I don't think this one's going to work much either there. Not going to work tonight with this one. So
just imagine. I might win the world championship right here. Put it on this shoulder, around my waist, where the Intercontinental.
I'm trying hard to defend you and be as much I can as partial to you. But certainly the sharks out there watching and listening to this, hearing the fact that you would be the world champion and the hardcore champion at the same time, especially after we mentioned that individual that used to work here with the date 5/18, I am certainly sure that the sharks would really swarm and really want your blood if that was the case. Let's stick to one championship at the moment.
I don't know what he's officially lost at this point. I thought he lost it back in the day, but he's lost even more. I mean,
maybe it's the mustache. He lost the mustache, Mr. Allen.
Lost the mustache.
Maybe that's what it is.
He lost his mind to Boo. Well, he's lost that. He's lost that for 7 days. I mean, he's power hungry. He's gold hungry, especially. I mean, for God's sake, you want to. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be in this organization. It doesn't mean there would be no organization. And you want to go back to what? If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been to that promised land.
He even talked about going to other feds that were in the same state of Tennessee, but I don't know if those feds would want him. He mentioned Resi and he mentioned UWA, but I don't know that those promoters would want him.
Well, I mean, I saw him in the underground once, man. I saw that footage. We know how that went. Didn't go too
soon. And we know he's been in Resurrection before. He's wrestled there in that company on their live shows. So I'm pretty safe. I can say this, and I know the good people over at Resurrection, and I don't know if they would want to take Mr. Titan right now because they have real hardcore wrestlers. Some would say like Mac 10, and Jimmy Controversy likes to play ball there. I've even heard of another guy that's making his debut to Sportswire Radio in a few weeks that is considered to be a hardcore deathmatch legend that could be playing ball there soon. I mean, so the point is that there's real, is what many would say, to quote Justin Parsley, real hardcore talents and legends there in Resi. Atomic, I love you. You're my hardcore king, but I don't know if the good people of Resi would want you, and would you want to go there? Because those guys, you want to talk about sharks, hungry for blood, those guys have a different taste for blood than anywhere else.
Yeah, I understand. You see, I still have unfinished business with Dustin Alexander. He wants to go around, him and Cameron Cage and all these guys at Resurrection say they are the hardcore king. I seen the shirts. I seen they were calling me out. I seen it. But, you
and
know,
D'Angelo the Flames going in the Riot in the Ring all the way at NEW in Massachusetts. I mean, he's trying to prove himself to be so much more hardcore than you that he's got to go compete in another fed in another part of the country.
Yeah, you're right. But if I showed up to Resurrection, I'm going to be shutting people up. It's exactly what I'm going to be doing.
That's all you've done your whole career for the
like
past
even
7
Mac
years.
10. Mac 10 would probably be on his knees bowing down if I
He would
walked in that
certainly
door.
be respecting you. Mac 10 would definitely. Mac's the kind of guy that he'd put his Mountain Dew bottle even down for you. You know, Mac's known legendarily for his Mountain Dew, but even he would put the Mountain Dew down just to respect you and acknowledge you as his hardcore king for sure.
Yep, just like Joshua Allen's going to be doing soon. If he don't give me the respect I deserve. You know what? Don't ever.
You know, for people out there, Mr. Allen's facial mannerism when that just was from Mr. Titan's mouth, you could just see that was like the timing for that was just, you know, perfect.
And you know, don't ever get in my face like you did last week. Don't ever do that again.
Says the one that's been coming to my face complaining to me about the way your spot's been going. I'm sorry, but you won the Hardcore Hollows Mania 3. You won it there. So honestly, you're going to blame me. You're going to blame Manny Cobra. You're going to blame the board of directors. You're going to blame Jacob Young. It's honestly, you put yourself in this when you won that belt, so I don't think you knew what you were signing up for. I'm sorry. You don't think you do.
That was Beast. That was Beast.
Well, he's
right.
Well, he's you know, another land. We know what he's been doing.
Another land. He's like another world compared to what he was last season and this season. I'm not even going to bring his name up.
I don't know. I still can't figure out why the word he was siding with that bald freak. Anyway, nonetheless, story of the time. But
I mean, he could have sided with me again, like he did when he debuted.
I think
his best decision.
I think the best thing you could do, kind of what Mr. Allen just said, is don't even go there with Beast. Don't even mention Beast at this point.
I have some unfinished business with him.
You got your own stuff to focus on. Let Mr. Beast worry with Mr. J Wild with the world title there. You've obviously got other things to be worried about to use your attention to focus on. I would just say
I don't think you know what you were signing up for when you got in this hardcore division. Because you've got guys like Stefan Havoc after you. You got guys like Mac 10 after you. Dustin Alexander's after you.
Matthews, a name that's been mentioned on this company's TV before. I mean, those people out there. Sean Jovi's even hardcore now, and Omen Black. Let's not even go there. Omen Black tonight was big.
That's a whole different kettle of worms on that one. But anyway, and also a guy that was earlier, the name of Jesse Daniels is going to get his hands on you. I mean, do you know what you were signing up for when you won that? I don't think you did, because if you did, this ain't the world title picture. This ain't the continental title picture. This is the hardcore division. You knew what you were signing up for, and you made this division ridiculous.
I've ran through everybody. How am I scared?
I'm not scared. You have really ran through them all, pal.
It's been a great division since I've came onto it. It's actually been it's the best it's ever been. I should have started this a long time ago because now it's relevant.
Look at your tactics. How you've won every match you've been in, champ. It's lucky you even got that.
You know what? I'm not accepting Manny Cobra's challenge. I think you want to face me at anniversary for this. I think that's what it really is.
Whoa. Time out. Did I just hear, Mr. Titan, that you're saying to us that Joshua Allen wants to face you at anniversary for the Hardcore Championship? Did you just say that?
I think that's exactly what it is, because every time I'm backstage or something, he always has to interrupt me as I'm trying to leave the building, the yard, whatever you want to call it. And he's always running into me, barking orders at me, telling me to have a week and all this. So, yeah.
Mr. Allen, did I just hear something, or do I need to get my ears checked?
But, You keep crossing my path. You keep crossing my path. You're gonna pay for it. That's exactly what I said. You know, your body's gonna go through hell. You're gonna feel the wrath of the hardcore king.
Again, his kingdomship, quote unquote, is going to his head like another guy who.
I mean, why would you be targeting me so much? It's like I never show up for you or something. I'm always there. I'm always on every single show you have.
It's what you've done in this whole reign. You made this whole reign look like dog horse manure because you went through everybody. You're supposed to be a defending champion, right? But look at what you've done. You hit Clay with a belt in a match, the foot on the rope with Alan Michaels. You nearly put you didn't put Jacob Young out of commission. For God's sake.
Twice that's actually happened with Jacob.
And
good.
Me in the ring with you. Look, I'm sorry. No, I'm not scared of you. Never have been, never will be, you pipsqueak. But I've got a bum leg. I've been going to therapy for this, and it's not an excuse. It's not a rib. I've been going through that. Okay, I put that on my Instagram page. I've not been in the best of shape right now, but if I was, I can guarantee I would kick your ever-loving ass and teeth down your throat. Pardon my French, but no. Me at your anniversary, no.
So basically, the bottom line here is this, Mr. Allen, is that Mr. Titan has until 162 to basically decide that he's competing against Manny Cobra. Is that correct?
That's correct. He's got to 162 to accept it, and if he doesn't, he's out. So
Mr. Titan, I mean,
good.
Well, I don't know if it'll be good, though, because we've seen the comments tonight from the hardcore wrestlers, the pros, some would say, and I don't know if you'd want to go into that pond.
I'm willing to put my body through anything. But that's what Josh Allen should respect.
But those, you know that I bow down to my hardcore king.
Yeah,
but the facts are is that those guys in that pond, you might be gasping for air the minute you go into the water. That's certainly some uncharted territory and some rather murky waters you'd be going into with those sharks. They'd be like pariahs, more or less, if you were to go into those waters. I mean, obviously, look, you can do what you want. You're a grown man. You've obviously been a Grand Slam winner. You're the hardcore champion. But if you don't accept Manny Cobra's offer and you no longer work in TBW, and then you become a free agent and decide you're going to go to these other places with these guys that they've been doing this for decades, and they see you and they're salivating. They're almost like a butcher when they would sharpen up the knives to get ready to cut the meal. You'd be the meal they'd be cutting. They'd be, whether it's going to be that steak, that chicken, that lamb, whatever it is that you might like. Yeah. They're going to be the butcher, and you're going to be the meal. Basically, you're going to be the blood on the dance floor, the blood on the table. Michael Jackson cue there for Mr. Allen, Blood on the Dance Floor, Michael Jackson song. But the point was that, Mr. Titan, you're going to basically be going where I don't think you're ever going to come back from, certainly alive.
I understand that, but sometimes you got to take a risk.
Well, there's risk and there are risk, and I said, with those names tonight, they've been here the last few years. You see, he's actually, Mr. Allen could say a lot of things, but he's actually telling you, even he's warning you about the risk you could be facing. The risk with Mac 10. You know Mac 10. You've been in a locker room with him.
Yeah.
Mac 10's like nuts. I like Mac 10. He's a friend. But Mac 10 and you, he already said what he wanted to do with you on Saturday. Jake Matthews, I mean, this guy's been doing this since some guys have been in diapers when it comes to hardcore wrestling. Stephen Havoc, I mean, he's even been doing this since the 90s. I mean, when Bill Clinton was president, this guy was jumping through glass tables. I mean, you even want to go there with him? I mean, D'Angelo LaFlame, I mean, well, he's going over there in Massachusetts, and who knows what happens there? I mean, Omen Black, I mean, listen, he's been dogging you for over a year. I mean, can we keep going? I mean, the point is
you can keep going, but you see, at the end of the day, if I have to go somewhere to prove myself that I can survive that, then I guess
Do
it'll have
you
to
think
be.
in your mind, Mr. Titan, you can survive with those hardcore professionals? Can you survive it? Do you think you can?
I believe I could.
You could?
I'm the hardcore king
Yeah.
for a reason. Everybody that I'm gonna go up against, they're gonna acknowledge me as the hardcore king. So
So
yeah,
you'll continue your run, and they'll acknowledge you, and they don't know you. They basically are miscalculating what they may want, and they're underestimating you. Correct?
yep, that's correct.
All right. Well,
Okay,
you
he
know
can
what?
shake his head all he wants, but maybe I'll find a new company out there that'll actually respect me
I
for
mean,
what
I
I
would
do.
love to bring you back in the PWF. I mean, like I said, I do have a portion of the company still, but I'm sure my shareholders that I own the company with, they would certainly though want to still, feed you to the sharks. Still, they want to, feed you there. I would certainly defend you. I got your back, but I
Yeah,
can't guarantee my colleagues would. I got 3 colleagues. I got Omen Black, who let's not even go there. Soldier GP. I mean, that's basically the same thing, and then Dalton Skull, a man who's also, an interesting individual who's coming here on June 8th. I mean, I don't think those guys are going to basically roll out the red carpet for you. I would acknowledge, I'd get down and bow down for you, Mr. Titan, but my colleagues, I don't know if they will.
you see, if I came back to Pride Wrestling Federation, I think that
They
I
don't
would.
even want to bring back James Taylor. They're going to bring you back?
I
I actually said,
mean,
bring back James Taylor. They were
I
like,
was a battleground champion at once.
yes, you were.
I would want to go after the Uprising title if that happened. Maybe become champion. First time ever with that. I think I could. I did pretty good with PWF. So I think
Basically,
that,
what you're telling me is that if you walk away and you don't accept this offer after 162, you become a free agent and Mr. Allen fires you because he said it tonight and he said it on Rampage 161. He's giving you the pink slip. And if I go to my colleagues and say, you know what, let's bring back Titan and PWF. He's been there for us. He started the company. Let's go. Let's bring him back. You're basically telling me that, yeah, you'll be fine, no problem. But my colleagues, like I said, I can't guarantee that they're going to basically, roll out the type of matches you want. So you might want to reevaluate your plans. That's all. You can do what you want, though. I don't tell people what to do in the wrestling world. I'm probably the most hands-off individual in this sport. People ask me all the time, but it's up to you. It's your call.
Well, I guess I better have a backup plan in case I don't accept the challenge. Then.
Well, I'd love to have, like I said, love to have you in PWF. Love to have you come back home.
Yeah.
But my colleagues might not have the same ideas that I will, and I only have a portion. So I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to definitely say, let's bring back Titan. Let's let him bow down. Let's bow down to him. Let's acknowledge him. Let's make sure he's welcomed and honored him. Let's give him all the championships. But my colleagues, though, my 3 other colleagues, may not have the same idea.
You need to respect me. Owen Black, Soldier GP, Dalton School. If I don't accept the challenge, please let me back in.
And Steven Sylvester,
by the way.
You are a so-called king is begging at this point.
I wasn't begging. I wasn't begging.
It's like you were begging to me.
You say, see, maybe I could get a job at Resurrection. See, I think the people do want me. And
I want you, Mr. Titan.
Acknowledge
I just
that,
think the
Josh
plans.
Allen.
I think I want you. I think a lot of people want you, but I think the plans that you may not want are not the same as the other people from the other places. So the old adage is the grass may not be greener on the other side. It just may not be.
You never know, but this moron right here better start respecting me. I'm his best
basically,
champion.
I think the point is, ladies and gentlemen, the point is tonight is that you need to watch Tennessee Backyard Wrestling's Rampage 162. It's the go-home show before Anniversary 7. Anniversary 7 is going to have a slew of great matches. You're also going to see the first ever Macon Iron Cup. It's a battle royal to honor that. And congratulations to the guys on also having their first sponsor, really the first, I would say, backyard, even underground company to have a true sponsor. And We want to thank, obviously, Macon Iron Fitness for their support, and also so many other great shows. And there's going to be so many other great matches ahead from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling at Rampage 162. And the show itself for anniversary, I can assure you, is going to be one you won't want to miss. And it's going to be on the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling YouTube page at TBW 2017. And Mr. Silvestri brings up 518, which I'm not quite sure why he would bring up 518. Maybe he's the one that has something to do with Mr. Shade. I guess that would explain some of the things. So thank you, Stephen.
518. 518.
Well, he put 518.
Yeah.
What did he
maybe
put?
Maybe it's the day they, crown me as the backyard wrestling hardcore king of every federation.
Well, I was just going to say that Sean Jovi on his vlog upcoming this week, maybe his announcements, he's going to crown you as the All Wrestling Matters World Underground Champion, just mail you the championship.
They're mailing me the title, Josh, so there's another title I can come out with.
Well, apparently, Resident Rockstar has lost his mind too. No disrespect to Sean.
And maybe you should make me Atomic Titan title. Wait a minute. Wait. No.
He's out there.
No.
No. You can say no all you want, but that is the evidence right there. And
Mr. Silvestri would also like to ask, is there any open slots in the Macon Iron Cup? Maybe we can organize something there.
There's a few spots left, I do believe. I know that Clay is in this spot. I know the host, Robbie Anderson, who is the hosting the anniversary, he's going to be in there. Anderson, the drum member, is going to be in there. The developmental talent. Speaking of developmental talent, there's another issue that's been going on. This whole Flair and Jay Kolsch.
Jay Cole, a couple weeks ago, we saw that really, really boiled over in the main event, if I'm not mistaken. That was a huge thing. You could see why the champion was as mad as he was with Johnny J.
And I have that to deal with as well in this Pips week and the world title picture between the Prophecy and Russell Cooper, the new world champion. So I got a lot on my plate right now. Different things, different situations going on. But the It Factor, Jay Kolsch going after Gage Fleurs. The kids got a lot of guts. I'll give them that. A lot of guts to go after the H. But anyway, but this situation, the old Manny Cobra and Titan ordeal, like I said, I'm not telling you, I'm not demanding you that do what you will. Do what you want. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care anymore. Either you accept it or you can hit the brakes.
Mr. Titan, I feel like for whatever reason, Mr. Allen is almost yelling at you like a father would yell at his son to basically go out and do what he's supposed to. And what you, in this case, what Mr. Allen would like you to do is wrestle Manny Cobra at Anniversary 7. But again, you're entitled to do what you want. I want to put it out there, Mr. Titan. If you'd like to show up in other feds, by all means.
Yeah, I might have something going on the 18th. Maybe I can't make it anniversary.
Now you're going to back out of it? Are you serious?
I've probably got maybe a dinner or something to go to or some lunch. Maybe I got to go to another state.
Early Memorial Day weekend plans. Maybe you're going to actually, I don't know, maybe give a pep talk to Alan Michaels in the competitive eating contest next Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I'll be able to make it that day. I'm sorry. So,
well, if you don't make it, you might as well hand over that belt to the board of directors and myself. I'm sorry, because I am through.
Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think the point is tonight is that we still have plenty of questions that need to be answered. And those questions are going to be answered coming up here at Rampage 162 for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling's Go Home show before the historic Anniversary 7. And it's going to be a slew of great matches on Anniversary 7. Also, obviously, the Macon Iron Cup, the Battle Royal to honor the first ever Macon Iron Cup winner from our friends over at Macon Iron Fitness, who we cannot thank enough for their support of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. They're our first official sponsor of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, really one of the first official sponsors of Backyard Wrestling and Underground Wrestling history. We want to thank them for their support. You can also follow TBW and all those links here below. TBW 2017 on YouTube. Let's help them get to 7,500 subscribers. They're almost there. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling and all other social media platforms. Also, check them out at the Red Bubble store and get a shirt like the one I have, because I always like to make sure I support TBW. I've got my TBW merchandise, and I hope you join me and wear some TBW merchandise out there. And we're going to see, I'm sure Mr. Allen will be a huge part of the show. And Mr. Titan's basically got, until 162 to decide what his plans are going to be when it comes to his future in TBW. And if he accepts, he'll be wrestling Manny Cobra for the Hardcore Championship. But if he won't, well, I guess we'll be seeing him maybe in other places where he might actually be somebody's hardcore dinner. Stephen Havoc last night was a quote-unquote fountain of blood. Omen Black is a quote-unquote hardcore god. Guys like Hardcore put syringes through their needles and seem like it's nothing. Guys like Mikey Anarchy have so many marks on their back you can play connect the dots. Let's not even mention Obey with his gun bringing on the air on Sportswire Radio. There's the likes of Mac 10. Let's not even bring up Mac 10. I mean, he said a lot for Jimmy Controversy even. And there's Jimmy Controversy, by the way. Sean Jovi seems to have joined the hardcore ranks. I mean, there's Stephen Havoc. I mean, this guy literally does death ladder matches. I mean, there's Jake Matthews. I mean, this guy's been doing hardcore matches basically in his sleep. There's other guys like D'Angelo the Flame who seem to be going in that scene, and D Savage, and my guest tomorrow night, Justin Abel, saying even guys like Justin Parsley have dabbled in hardcore wrestling. Michael Christian was here tonight. I can keep going, but the point is, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see what happens coming up in the next week or so, and you can see Anniversary 7 itself on the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling YouTube page. Gentlemen, you have any final thoughts tonight? Because I think at this point, I think the people know that Mr. Titan is on the clock, and he's obviously going to have to answer for himself. And anything else you guys want to share tonight? Also, Mr. Cobra would like to say that if you don't accept Mr. Titan, you're going to be at McDonald's.
Maybe getting some food.
I do want fries with my Big Mac, just in case.
But yeah, I will say respect your hardcore king. Anniversary will be out June 1st. See if I show up or not. So might be there, might not.
By the way, anybody in the local area, it will be a live show. Fans, bring your own chairs in the local area. Be a live show.
And BYOB, bring your own beverages, get a chair. It's going to be a nice day. Hang out, lounge, watch some wrestling, watch wrestling from the mothership, the premier wrestling company around. I mean, this is a company that gets thousands of views, thousands of subscribers each year. This is a company that, I mean, has been mentioned on Barstool Sports. This is a company that's grown by leaps and bounds. This is a country that my British fans, my British friends listen to in the wrestling world. This is a country in Australia and Canada and Japan that are fans of TBW. In all 50 states, there are people that watch TBW. So if you have an opportunity and you live near where Tennessee Backyard Wrestling is filming the upcoming Anniversary 7, come on down and have a good old time. I mean, why not? I mean, you're going to meet some of the finest wrestlers around in this sport, some of the finest people around in this yard and underground, and everything else has to offer. So why not have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? If you go out there in the show and tell me what you think and tell me the experience and what it was like to watch these guys up close and front and personal. And I know if I was certainly there, I would certainly be there. And, well, they wouldn't want me there because I would probably be cheering up and down and going too loud. But if you have the opportunity and you're near the great town where the TBW guys are in Tennessee, go out there and watch and have a good time. And I can assure you, Manny Cobra, that Mr. Titan likes his Big Mac with fries. And I can assure you that the $5 mega deal at McDonald's is looking like they're putting together will be a deal that I'm sure Mr. Titan might be serving if he is a McDonald's employee. And I can't wait to order there at McDonald's.
That's the only thing Manny Cobra's getting. But
apparently Alan Michaels is going to be getting a lot of McDonald's next Friday because our eating competition, it's going to now apparently be McDonald's. Because
how many Big Macs are they eating? Or is it McDonald's? Or just cheeseburger?
Well, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but knowing Mr. Michaels' appetite, I mean, could be an interesting one. I would say that hopefully Mr. Michaels doesn't have an experience like Mr. Thorne did with his last experience on Sportswire.
But I will say this Saturday, if you want to come to the show, message our Facebook or Instagram page for the address.
At Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And if there's anybody out there that wants to, you can let me know and I'll get you in touch with the guys. But They're very easy to get in touch with. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. It's on Facebook, Instagram. They're also on TikTok. They're on YouTube. If you want to subscribe, TBW 2017, they have a Redbubble store, which is where I bought some of my TBW merchandise. You got the hat there that Mr. Allen is wearing. So go out, and it's really important. I want to say this last thing before we go. It's really important to buy merchandise from your favorite companies or wrestlers, and especially like TBW, because this is what helps these guys and gals go out there and be able to do what they do each and every week and every month out there, because it's not for free. There's a lot that's put into these shows. It's not easy to go out there. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. So if we can all go out there and buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a mug, whatever it might be, even that little $5, $10, $20, it goes so far in helping these companies and these wrestlers be able to support us. And I always say, it is about all wrestling matters. And it really is about together we win. And let's support those that are going out there and putting their body on the line, their blood, sweat, and tears. These guys do that each and every time they're out there in the ring. And Hillbilly Tilly always says it. True wrestlers do it for the love of this sport. Say what you want about tonight about Mr. Titan and Mr. Allen, but they go out there and do that. So if you can, please go buy some merchandise, buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a mug, do something, because it really helps them go out there to be able to put together these shows. Because I know, yes, I may have the deep pockets, and it's okay. I can, underwrite all the costs for the radio station and, for all those little links we have on Sportswire and the lighting. I can do that. But these guys don't have the same luxuries that I do. So let's go support them, because it really helps them and it really makes a difference. And you'll really get a chance to show your favorite wrestlers that you support them. And at this point, my running joke is that my entire wardrobe is full of wrestling shirts, so much to the point I went to my mother's wedding last week in a wrestling shirt. So as you can see, the point is I try to go out there and support all those in our community. Let's do it even further. And these guys deserve it, because they are the mothership. They are, as I always say, the true definition of an American small business success story. This is what it's all about here. This company started 7 years ago, humble beginnings. They were high school students. They had a dream. Look at where they are. They are the definition of an American small business success story, an American dream, you might even say. And this is what it's about, mom and pop values. I always talk about here, the backbone of our community is the mom and pop, the small businesses. These guys are the examples of that. Let's support them. Let's buy some merchandise. Fellas, I want to thank you guys so much. Mr. Titan, you're on the clock, as I can see. Manny Cobra, thank you for joining us. Mr. Allen, keep up the good work. Looking forward to having you guys back on next month to formally put you guys in the Hall of Fame. We'll see if Mr. Titan is an employee of yours by then still. And until then, we will have to see. And I, for one, acknowledge and bow down to Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. We have our Hardcore King, the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history, the Atomic Titan, and we'll see if our Hardcore King accepts the challenge laid out by Manny Cobra, the Puerto Rican Nightmare. If he doesn't, well, he could be facing some hardcore pros that will certainly be looking for a fountain of blood, to quote Mr. Stephen Havoc, and of course, our esteemed owner, one of the best owners in this sport around, Mr. Joshua Allen. He is also the GM of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. And no, I'm not a player, but I get more plays than any other wrestling talk show host shown around the way. And if you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. I'll be back here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Justin Abel Saint of NEW Underground Wrestling. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about maybe seeing Mr. Titan and his company if Mr. Titan doesn't accept that offer from Mr. Cobra and Mr. Allen's demands. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, and together we will win. Remember, support our friends at TB Dub, TB Dub, TB Dub, TB Dub, TB Dub.